At 6:40 in the morning, his alarm rang. He opened his eyes before the second sound, not because he was rested, but because his body had learned to hurry before his feet touched the floor. He was already thinking about the day, the emails, the calls, the errands, the meeting at 10, the bill he forgot to pay, the message he still had not answered, the thing he promised to fix, the person he promised to call back. He moved through the apartment like a man being chased. Coffee, shower, keys, phone, wallet, bag, no silence, no pause, no room to ask himself anything for years. This was how he lived, always moving, always needed, always busy. Until one morning, something strange happened. His phone did not ring. No one called, no one texted, no one needed him. The apartment was quiet. The street outside was quiet. Even the clock on the wall sounded too loud. He stood in the kitchen, holding his keys, fully dressed, ready to run into a day that was not chasing him anymore. And for the first time in years, he had nowhere urgent to be. That should have felt peaceful, but it did not. It scared him. He used to like being busy. At least that was what he told people. When someone asked how he was doing, he always gave the same answer: busy. And they understood, because busy sounded normal, busy sounded responsible, busy sounded like a man who had his life together. So he said it at work. He said it to his neighbors. He said it to his brother. He even said it to himself. I'm just busy. But busy became more than a word. It became his excuse, his identity, his shield. If he was tired, he was busy. If he was distant, he was busy. If he forgot a birthday, he was busy. If he avoided a conversation, he was busy. Nobody questioned it, because everyone was busy too. So every morning, he rushed through the same little life. Same kitchen, same coffee, same keys, same road, same polite answers, same tired smile, and somehow, the faster he moved, the less he felt like he was actually going anywhere. On the wall near the kitchen, there was a calendar. At first, it was just for appointments, doctor visits, bills, work calls, oil changes, family dinners. Then it started filling up. Small notes, reminders, deadlines, names, tasks he barely remembered agreeing to. There were colored marks on almost every day. Yellow for work, blue for family, red for things he could not forget, and black for things he had already missed. Every square looked full. Every week looked crowded. Every month looked like proof that his life mattered. Sometimes, as late at night, he would stand in front of it, with a pen in his hand, trying to find one empty space. One quiet evening. 1 hour that belonged to nobody. But even when he found one, he filled it. A call, a repair, a favor, a quick errand, something useful, something necessary, something that kept him from sitting still long enough to hear what his life sounded like without noise. Then came that morning, the strange one, the quiet one. He woke up ready to run, but nothing was waiting. No urgent email, no missed call, no appointment reminder, no message saying, "Can you help me real quick?" He checked the phone twice, then a third time. The screen stayed still. For a few seconds, he almost laughed. This was what he always wanted. A quiet morning, a free hour, a day that did not start by demanding something from him. So he sat at the kitchen table. The coffee was warm. The sunlight was soft. The house was clean. Everything looked peaceful. But his leg would not stop moving under the table. His hand kept reaching for the phone. His eyes kept looking at the clock. And then he understood something he did not want to understand. He did not know how to rest. He only knew how to wait for the next thing to need him. He tried to enjoy it. That was the strange part. He tried. He made another coffee, even though the first one was still half full. He opened the window, let the morning air come in. He looked around the apartment, as if waiting for something to tell him what to do next. But nothing did. No one needed a ride, no one needed an answer, no one needed him to hurry. So he sat on the couch, then stood up, then sat down again. He picked up a book from the small table, read the same sentence 3 times, put it back. He turned on the television, then turned it off before the first commercial. He walked to the kitchen, opened the fridge, closed it, checked the phone. Still nothing. And in that quiet little apartment, with nothing wrong and nothing urgent, he felt more uncomfortable than he had felt on his busiest days. Because when life finally stopped asking for him, he did not know who he was supposed to be. By 9:15, he found something. A light bulb, that was all. One bulb above the hallway had been flickering for weeks. He had ignored it every night. But now, on the first quiet morning he had in months, it suddenly became important. So he grabbed his keys, put on his jacket, told himself he needed to go to the hardware store. It sounded reasonable, useful, responsible. A man should fix things. That was what he told himself. But before he opened the door, he stopped. His hand was already on the handle. His bag was already on his shoulder. His phone was already in his pocket. And for one clear second, he saw what he was doing. The light bulb was not urgent. The errand was not urgent. He was creating movement, because stillness felt too honest. He stood there halfway out the door, realizing he had turned rest into another task. Still, he went outside. Not to the hardware store, not yet. He just walked down the front steps, past the mailboxes, past the cars parked along the curb. The neighborhood was calm, too calm. A man across the street was washing his truck. A child rode a scooter in slow circles. Someone's dog barked once and then stopped. Everything around him looked ordinary. But inside, he felt like he was late for something. He checked the time, then checked it again. There was nowhere to be. No one was waiting. No meeting, no deadline, no emergency. But his body did not believe that. His shoulders stayed tight, his jaw stayed locked. His mind kept searching for the next problem, like a dog looking for a missing owner. He walked faster, then slower, then stopped near the corner and watching cars pass. And a thought came to him, quietly, almost embarrassingly. Maybe he had not built a busy life. Maybe he had built a life where silence could never find him. He stopped at the corner, between 2 worlds. To his left, the main road was already full. Cars, trucks, people crossing fast, a woman talking into her phone, a man carrying coffee in one hand, and a laptop bag in the other. Everyone looked like they were being pulled somewhere. No one looked present. No one looked rested. No one looked free. To his right, there was a small walking trail behind the neighborhood. He had passed it for years, every morning, every evening. Always saying the same thing. Maybe someday. Someday when work slowed down. Someday when life got easier. Someday when he had more time. But time had never arrived. Only more tasks did. He stood there, with his keys in his hand, watching the city move on one side and the quiet path waiting on the other. And for the first time, he wondered if busy had been a place he kept choosing. He turned toward the trail, slowly, almost like he needed permission. The path was simple, trees on both sides, sunlight breaking through the leaves, a narrow line of dirt leading away from the road. There was nothing impressive about it. No destination, no reward, no proof that he had used his time well. And maybe that was why he had avoided it. He walked a few steps in, then stopped. Behind him, the sound of traffic was still there, but softer now. People were still rushing. Phones were still ringing. Meetings were still starting. Somewhere, someone was probably asking where he was. But for once, he did not turn back. He kept walking, Not fast, not with purpose, just walking. And the farther he went, the stranger it felt, because without noise around him, he could finally hear the noise inside him. At first, the silence showed him small things. How tired his legs felt, how tight his shoulders were, how long it had been since he had taken a full breath. Then it showed him older things. The dinner with his daughter he kept postponing. The friend he stopped calling, because every conversation felt like one more demand. The guitar in the closet, with dust on the case. The old dream of taking a long drive with no plan. The mornings he lost. The Sundays he turned into preparation for Monday. The years he called productive, because he did not know what else to call them. He kept walking, and every step made the truth a little harder to ignore. He had not been busy because everything mattered. He had been busy because it was easier than choosing what mattered. That thought hurt, not like a disaster, more like a quiet bruise, something he had carried so long, he had mistaken it for his own body. When he came back home, nothing had changed. The apartment was still quiet. The coffee cup was still on the table. His phone was still where he left it. No emergency, no disaster, no proof that the world needed him as much as he thought it did. He stood in the kitchen, breathing slowly, looking at the small, ordinary life around him. For years, he had treated quiet like a problem, an empty space to fill, a warning sign, a reason to move faster. But now, so after walking with nowhere to go, he saw it differently. The quiet was not accusing him, it was not punishing him, it was not saying his life was empty. It was only showing him what had been buried under all the motion. A tired man, a lonely man, a man who had confused being needed with being alive. That afternoon, he did not fix the light bulb. He did not open his laptop. He did not make a list. He did not turn rest into another project. He sat by the window, with the phone face down beside him, and watched the light move across the floor. For a while, he felt useless, then uncomfortable, then sad, then strangely calm. Because maybe peace does not always arrive as happiness. Sometimes it arrives as the first moment you stop running, the first moment you admit you are tired, the first moment you realize that your life does not have to be full to be real. Outside, cars kept passing, people kept rushing, the world stayed busy. But inside that small apartment, something had changed. He was still the same man, same keys, same phone, same bills, same unfinished life. But for the first time in years, he did not reach for the next task. He let the silence stay. And when the evening came, quietly, without asking for anything, he stayed too.